I'm Jeff Hunt. He's Bill Thorpe. We're actually agreeing today.
We agree this program works.
We do.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
We're having a lot of fun because we're hanging out with
fantastic.
our friends from Step Denver. Today's a big day. Today's Colorado Gives Day, which means a number of foundations step up to match the donations that go through Colorado Gives and that whole portal there. But they also have major donors that have come alongside to do a match. So if you go to coloradogives.org/StepDenver, you can support them. Why are we doing this? So Bill and I both are people of faith, and we feel that we are called by God to care for the least of these. It is a commandment. It's very clear in the New Testament. You have to care for the poor. You can't ignore that. They are close to God's heart. But if you're driving around, you see somebody panhandling, you know oftentimes if you give them $1, it's going to facilitate their addiction and make life worse for them.
Yeah, and that's not caring.
Exactly.
No.
And then you have plenty of organizations funded by the government that are just full of fraud. It drives me nuts. I hate it. And so,
Mike Johnston, I'm sorry. There was something in my throat. I apologize for
we
that
talked
one.
about it on the show. They can't even
Yeah.
account for a third of
Yeah.
the money. Like their
can't
auditors are like, we don't know what happened to a third of the money.
Yeah.
That went from your tax dollars into homeless hotels from hell. in
And
my
remember
opinion.
when they stepped out there and they had the big, giant rollout of what they were going to do and how they're going to help all the homeless and help with the addiction and everything else. They were talking about programs they think might work. Programs they hoped would work, that they're putting together a conglomeration. We have got Step Denver. They have proof positive of this program working. Hundreds of men last year came out of this program and are now productive members of our society. 85% of the men that went through the program last year were still contacted, 90% still independently housed, 75% still functionally employed. That's doing it right. And they only do it, though, with your support because they don't get any government funds. They don't take any of those government checks.
No government funds.
It's only you.
And they're solving the problems that we care about.
Imagine that.
All right, so Amy, Mission Advancement Officer, live in studio with us. Our goal today is $25,000. This would be a huge record-breaking morning from 710K in U.S. And it's not just Bill and I that are investing in this. The entire station is, from our operations manager to the sales team. Everybody.
There's so many people behind the scenes right now here with us.
710K
So cool.
Support Step Denver because they do good work. So what's the goal today?
So we actually have... I love that you want to raise $25,000 just from KNUS because we need that. There's a $55,000 match just for today that two couples of our donors have offered to match dollar for dollar. We are at $15,000 for KNUS right now. So we need 10,000 more to hit our goal just for this morning. That is absolutely a record.
So we've already broken the record.
Yes. No, and I have to say again, I've been saying it all morning, I am so unbelievably, incredibly grateful for the listeners. And it has been decades of these listeners. Back when Peter Boyles was, doing the morning show, and I talk to donors all the time. And how did you hear about Step Denver? Peter Boyles or Mike Rosen, right? I know that they work together a lot. And so it's just mind-blowing the longevity. We've been around 42 years. So I would say that's long enough for people to know that the program works.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. A track record that delivers results. And we're going to talk with Clayton here in a second, who has gone through the program and his life's been changed. You're going to hear his compelling story. You're not going to want to miss it. But look, guys, not only is the station invested, our family's invested. We have written a check, the Hunt family, for $500. And you know how skeptical I am of those fraudulent charities and government-run programs that don't work. I believe in Step Denver. I'm willing to step up. Will you join us and help not only support Step Denver, but let's change the lives of men in the city of Denver, and let's make our city better. We can do that. Go to coloradogives.org/StepDenver, coloradogives.org/StepDenver. Now it's time for the news.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Hey, good Tuesday morning, 41 with some clouds in Denver, expecting a high of 61 today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, gas prices falling to level Colorado drivers haven't seen in years, with the state now averaging about $2.41 a gallon. The second cheapest in the country. 47 is traveling to Pennsylvania today, kicking off his national tour, touting his economic agenda, where they will discuss gas prices. A federal judge has just granted DJT and AG Pam Bondi's request to unseal files from Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell's sex trafficking case. Now they're hearing it from the left. How far will this go? Stay tuned. So much going on. What's the future for Nicolas Maduro and Venezuela, DJT?
He sent a lot of these people. He also sends in a lot of drugs. So we'll see how it all works out.
So
But I can't talk about
So
strategy.
how far would you go to take Maduro out of office?
I don't want to say that,
But you want to see him out?
his days are numbered.
Can you rule out an American ground invasion?
I don't want to
Venezuela?
rule in or out. I don't talk about it. Why would I talk to you, an extremely unfriendly publication, if you want to call it Politico, that got $8 million from Obama to keep it afloat? Why would I do that? Why would I talk about that to Politico? I mean, I'm doing this because you picked me as a man
Well,
for
I'm
Europe, and I
asking
thought it was
for
appropriate
transparency
thing to do.
for their American people, because a lot of folks are.
Transparency.
Well, people are
I'll tell
wondering
you, I am
what
the
is.
most transparent politician maybe in the world.
A lot of
okay?
folks are wondering what our goals are in
Sure, but
Venezuela.
I don't want to talk to you about military strategy.
Well, may I ask then, what is your goal in Venezuela? What do you want to see with the actions that you're taking?
Well, one goal is I want the people of Venezuela to be treated well. I want the people of Venezuela, many of whom live in the United States, to be respected. I mean, they were tremendous to me. They voted for me.
And also in this interview, DJT confirms Ukrainian President Zelensky has refused to even read the peace proposal. Yeah, I don't think Zelensky and NATO handlers want peace. It doesn't look like it. General Mike Flynn posting this morning about the deep state, command and control. Mr. President, he says, break it apart. SIGI. That stands for Council on the Inspector Generals on Integrity and Efficiency, right? Whistleblower Dr. Timothy Schindler, Colonel, USMC retired, tells Laura Logan the deep state is real and runs through SIGI.
But in effect,
you bet,
you really were working for the SIGI.
You bet.
And who at the SIGI?
Michael E. Horowitz.
Wow. Come on. Horowitz?
Yes.
One of the worst.
Yes.
One of the absolute worst. Horowitz of Russia collusion fame.
Yes.
Who now is is not out of the government, who now is at the Federal Reserve.
Right.
Waiting, ready to come back.
Right. Still probably providing emeritus status on the SIGI.
What was his position officially at the SIGI?
DOJ. He was the DOJ IG.
He was the Inspector General at DOJ.
And he replaced Glenn Fine, who went to DOD.
Wow, it's a really nice, tight, rotating circle of the same people.
And his deputy then went on to become the DOD IG. And his deputy spent 30 years over in the U.S. Attorney's Office, District of Columbia.
Break it up. This is what most of us want. Hopefully DJT will try to make something happen. We'll see. Don't hold your breath. The National Weather Service has issued a high wind watch for Lakewood, Boulder, Golden, and Arvada. There could be gusts of up to 60 miles an hour at times today. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, Marco Rubio, and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs will brief top congressional lawmakers behind closed doors today. The briefing for the so-called Gang of Eight is expected to focus at least partially on the ongoing strikes on drug boats in the Caribbean and Pacific. All All right, the Avalanche at the Predators tonight. Nuggets at the Kings on Thursday. The Chargers beat the Eagles last night, 22-19 in overtime. The Chargers now 9-4. Stefan. The Colts are bringing in 44-year-old Phillip Rivers for a workout today at quarterback. Indiana Jones out for the season. Horrible news for the Colts. Rivers, he's actually a grandfather and can barely move in the pocket, and that's beautiful. If he can deliver, hey, it's the soft NFL. They may protect him.
I'll give Ever extra money if he plays in a Rascal. I'll pay money to watch that.
I love it. That's a great idea. All right, let's hope that happens. 37 in Lafayette, 38 in Littleton, 40 in Denver. You're waking up with Jeff and Bill. Great day today, celebrating STEP. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Other than some windy areas, and there will be plenty of wind along the Front Range and foothills and mountains over the next couple of days, we're going to be looking at mild, dry weather as all the significant weather stays to the north and east of us. Partly cloudy, windy at times, upper 50s and low 60s, low to mid-30s tonight. Mid to upper 50s Wednesday, near 40 Wednesday night. Temperatures will be 50s and 60s Thursday, trending a bit cooler for Friday and into the weekend, but the real cold stays away. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Welcome back to a very special edition of the Jeff and Bill Show. Billy and I typically debating the politics of the day, but taking a moment to come together in support of a wonderful organization that we personally are invested in, but that is improving the lives of men in our communities.
Yeah, we didn't even do this for Thanksgiving. We didn't even stop fighting. But for today, that's how important September is.
Yeah, I know, which is better.
Yeah.
Stuffing or mashed potatoes.
Exactly. Oh, it's everything.
Yeah, Billy and I are like two brothers. That
we
just,
are. Yes.
You know,
all the time.
We love each other, but it doesn't matter what it is. We'll debate
Doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I am in that prime mode right now with two middle school boys
in
my house that are only a year apart.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so live in studio with us is Amy. She's the Mission Advancement Officer for STEP Denver, but also people that have gone through the program and had their lives improved, and there's such compelling stories. Clayton joins us now. Good morning, Clayton. Thanks for joining our program.
Yeah, good morning.
It's great to be here. Thanks.
Clayton, let's start. You and I were talking. You're from Chicago originally. Grew up in a nice part of the suburbs of Chicago.
Yeah. I didn't... there's so many different stories of people who, have gone through this. It doesn't discriminate the issues that can come up in somebody's life that cause them to go down that path. So, I grew up in a neighborhood that was safe and nice and good schools and, a lawyer for a father and a housewife for, housewife. For a mother, and four brothers and sisters, a twin brother. We were close, growing up, and so I had really a nice support growing up. There were things there that sort of planted seeds that, led to problems later on.
Tell us about those.
Well, it was really okay to drink quite a bit, in my family. We were during holidays, even every evening, my parents were people who, after work have martinis, and then my dad would go on to drink a bottle of wine and then have an after wine drink. So he was really a functional alcoholic. He held up his end, but relationships suffered because of his sort of absence. My mother was a saint. She didn't drink at all, but on her side of the family also there were people who, in fact, I have a 19-year chip of my great uncle who went through AA. He was a face in the spaghetti drunk is what my mom used to call him. Yeah. And so he he kind of represents that problem on my mother's side. So those were sort of factors that were present, and then also the neighborhood and high school and stuff is probably no different than a lot of places in the country. Kids start drinking and using marijuana and drugs early. I was 13 when I first got drunk.
So Clayton, tell us that story. So it's the first time that you're going to break the seal on that addiction. You've seen Dad be a functional alcoholic, but in your lifestyle, just so we talked with Donnie, that's all you know. So it appears normal, and it would be unusual to walk into another kid's house and not see Dad drink like that, when they come home or at dinner, etc. So it's normal for you. You've seen Dad sort of, and I'm going to use it in air quotes, manage his alcoholism.
Yeah.
So at 13, you decide you're going to break the seal and try the drink for the first time. Please walk our audience through where you were, what you were doing, and what were you drinking? What'd you choose?
Yeah. Well, I was 13, eighth grade or almost freshman year in high school, and I had a few friends, and my brother were at my friend's house, down the street from where I grew up. In the basement, there was I remember there was a pool table there, and we had 2 bottles of vodka sitting on the pool table when we got there. And we decided we were going to drink them. And there was probably 4 or 5 of us. Yeah, it was ugly. I mean, it got ugly really fast. I didn't fall down. The ground came up and hit me on the head, kind of a thing.
That's great.
I mean, really, it was hardcore. And later on, I have a twin brother who was with me. I don't want to throw him under the bus, but he was barfing in his room, and it was really quite. And I think I fell down the stairs at home when I got home. My parents were out of town, so we were kind of like cutting loose. And I think my friends' parents were out of town too, so we were just kind of like free to do what we wanted to do, and we really got into trouble that night.
Now, there are people that talk about with alcohol addiction, the idea is you're always searching for the answer at the bottom of the bottle. And if you don't find it at the bottom of this one, maybe it's the next one that's going to have it. What I want to ask you, Clayton, is what was it like that first time you're drinking with your brother and your friends? You're downing way too much vodka. Did it feel like a solution? Did it feel like an escape? Was it fun? What did you take from that very first experience with alcohol?
I mean, it was fun to a point, until it wasn't that night. We got goofy and whatever as, young teenagers. And I wouldn't say it was a revelation to me that it was a solution for anything other than, just getting wild. But it certainly introduced me to something that would help me escape, and so later, I saw it as an escape, a way to avoid my problems and put them over to the side and not have to deal with it. And it was really more of a symptom of bigger problems for me that became a problem in and of itself.
So it acted like a Band-Aid. It was able to mask some of the other pain. As long as you could drink, the pain goes away.
Yeah, I could bury my head in the sand, basically.
Yeah,
and
that makes sense, especially
the
that age.
care and the concern went away.
Now, how much of a facilitator was your twin brother? Were the siblings? Were the friends? I imagine mom and dad didn't want to have anything to do with it, but what were the steps that you, brother, and friends took in order to start hiding the drinking from parents? Now, also, I guess a better question, too, is did it take off immediately, or was it a slow build to an addiction?
It was definitely a slow build. I mean, there were binges in high school and college and things like that, but it wasn't like a pervasive problem in my life that prevented me from going to college, going to graduate school, and having children and wife and kids and profession.
I mean, it sounds like you followed in your dad's footsteps
pretty
well.
I did.
Were you an attorney, or what was your...
No, I was a healthcare executive. Eventually, I started as an emergency medical technician right after college, and and then ended up getting a master's in healthcare administration and public health. That brought me to New Orleans. Okay, and so New Orleans introduced
like
a whole new,
whole new
Disneyland
of alcoholism.
We were talking about this one time because I've only been to New Orleans once, and I went into a Walgreens, and there's a bunch of dudes buying Pedialyte, and I thought that was so weird. I'm like, what is going on? Like, why?
It's a hangover cure.
Exactly. There's like 20 dudes all with Pedialyte in their arms.
Yeah,
I'm like,
hangover
what?
cure. Yeah.
It's because it's this hangover. It's a weird town, man.
Yeah.
You're down there in the midst of that.
Yeah, I was there for 25 years before I moved here. And, I went to Tulane for that graduate program and did fine. I mean, I was a heavy drinker my whole life. So, like, when the day was over, I could put down a half a bottle, a half a fifth of whiskey or vodka or whatever, and then wake up and function fine.
Now, did you stick just with alcohol? Did you go into any drugs at all during the addiction cycle?
I did everything,
Yeah.
I was not expecting that answer out of his mouth.
I was not either.
I did everything.
Yeah.
Like everything.
Well, once you sort of think it's okay to escape, you try to find new ways and do different things, and everything from marijuana to cocaine to LSD.
And you're studying healthcare?
Yeah. Well, that was happening more in high school and college. Okay. After that, there was certainly marijuana and alcohol, and occasionally something else, but not on a regular basis. Thankfully, I guess. I mean, alcohol was bad enough for me. It got really, really bad. But
it's
it was
socially acceptable though too, as far as alcohol. It's much easier to feed that alcohol addiction at the time,
especially
when you're grown up in
Orleans,
drugs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because it's a cottage industry down there. It's what the city's in many ways built around is the alcohol. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's everything. The whole culture down there is different in that it's much more acceptable any time of day. During the day or even in the morning, you drink mimosas and stuff with brunch, breakfast.
Now you're listening to Clayton, and he's here with Step Denver because we're raising money for them. This is a day in which you literally have the opportunity to change lives. This is a crazy opportunity that we've got for you today. Colorado Gives Day is today. Go to coloradogives.org/StepDenver. coloradogives.org/StepDenver. We're listening to Clayton being basically alcoholic Disneyland in New Orleans. He's struggling with his alcohol addiction building, and he's around in an environment in which they say consuming alcohol 24/7 is okay. He found the solution here in town in Denver at Step Denver. Longtime program. You've heard Peter Boyles, you've heard Mike Rosen talk about him for years. These are guys and gals that do it right. The deal is they don't take federal funds, so the feds can't tell them what to do, but they have remarkable success compared to all those other programs out there. Mayor Johnson, sorry, got something in my throat this morning. It's awful. I got to clear that up. But they do this thing right, but they're not tied based on federal government strings. That means they need your support. They need you to write a check. This is a huge day for them. They have got a couple of donors that are willing to match up to $55,000. That means every dollar you donate this morning becomes 2. Every 5 becomes 10. Every 10 becomes 20. Every 50 becomes 100. Think about the impact that you can have. Amy, earlier this morning, shared with us, they got a couple $1 million budget that they're running with. But the economic impact that the several hundred men that come out of the program deliver to Denver each and every year is more than $16 million. You are going to be hard-pressed to find any sort of a program like this that will turn around and have that type of return on investment. Plus, these men stay clean. We showed you these statistics earlier this morning. 90% of them, more than a year out of it, are still independently housed. 75% more than a year out still have their job.
There's
this is
nothing
crazy.
like that.
There's nothing like this out there.
There's literally nothing else like
nothing
that.
else that
And
does like
85% are still sober as
That
well.
is crazy.
Yeah. So
that's amazing. So this is a big one.
amazing.
Now, last year, I think we raised $12,000 on this program. We are now north of $17,000, and we have set a goal to reach $25,000 during our show. We have surpassed last year's record. We need your help, though.
Yes, we do.
So please go to coloradogives.org/StepDenver and make a donation right now. So, Clayton, how bad did it get at that point? Now, you're down in Louisiana, you're drinking regularly, but you seemed like you're building a career, but I'm guessing you didn't show up at Step Denver because everything was going fine.
No, and it wasn't as simple as just going from New Orleans to Step Denver. Yeah. It got ugly, I mean, I got divorced back in 2010, had two boys who were, almost into their teens at that point, and then got remarried and had another child, a girl, wonderful little girl. But that marriage didn't pan out real well, and so everything that happened was due to my own choices. So I don't hold anyone else accountable for my bad choices, but I had to pay for those choices. And if I was having a bad time, not getting along with my wife, I'd escape. I'd go get a hotel for a few nights, and that is where it really started getting bad. Because I'd drink the whole time just to shut out the noise. And then there were times during the day, I was pretty much my own. I was the boss, at this job. I was an executive, and I could make my own schedule. So I'd schedule off days and go to Audubon Park in New Orleans in my car and drink a whole bottle of vodka. Just do that.
So you have the power to control your own schedule. You're getting days off, and what you're doing with that day off is sitting in a car and drinking?
Yeah.
That is the plan. Whoa. The plan is to have vacation days or to change your schedule, and the purpose of that day. I just want to put a pin in this so that everyone in the audience understands this, that Clayton is telling you right now that he was scheduling days off. He was taking vacation days. He was the boss. He had the ability to do it, so he set the schedule. But those days were there for the purpose of feeding the addiction. Imagine where an individual is in their life when they're scheduling their vacation around ways to feed the addiction. And it is Step Denver, the people that are here with us today, that are the ones that changed that cycle. That's important.
It takes a tremendous amount of energy to figure out how you're going to drink next all the time. I mean, and drinking became my top priority. It's not that I didn't think other things were important. I didn't just shut down every care in the world that I had. I still had love and concern for important things, but alcohol had its way of bubbling its way up to the top, kind of sneaky. And I found myself making sure that I had the time covered to escape when I needed to, and sometimes I felt compelled to, and it was really shutting off the noise is what I call it, but it's stress and concern and, anger and resentment, all that, alcohol helped with for a while.
And how'd you get to Colorado then?
So 2018, I think, is when I really decided I had a problem, or people helped me decide I had a problem.
Tell me about that.
Well, one day my wife found me in the car at Audubon Park, drunk. It's like sleeping, okay? And she's like, "You got to go get some help somewhere." So I did a intensive outpatient program while working, and I wasn't the guy who got drunk at work. That's how I maintained functionality. But I got the time that I needed to go to. I mean, she found me that day, and I ended up in detox and bringing out the red flags everywhere, and that was kind of like the day. And I think it was February of 2018, from there was a 5-year road, of recovery roller coaster. I'd be okay, and then I wouldn't be okay, and then I'd go to. I went to 12 different treatment programs, good ones like Betty Ford and stuff like that, and I'd some of them twice. I felt safe there.
What are those treatments like? I don't have any context of what you do when you walk into one of those treatments.
Yeah, I mean, by the way, I also ended up in jail for not long times, but I got caught, driving and drinking.
Oh, so you had some DUIs?
Yeah, I had and then also in the hospital. So eventually I ended up getting really, really sick down in New Orleans and ended up in the hospital for 6 weeks, lost 50 pounds. And, I wasn't drinking during that time, but a few weeks after I got out, I found a way to start up again, and it really got really bad.
Now, Clayton, I want to talk to you about that time that you're in the hospital. You've got a break at that time. In many cases, some of the alcohol addiction, at least the physical response, will have come out of your system. But you're talking about getting out of the hospital. And what I'm hearing from you is the mental addiction is so strong. You're looking to go find that alcohol when you get out, even if it's not necessarily now a physical addiction at the same level it was when you went into the hospital. Is that right? Is that what we're hearing?
No, yeah. And there was a sense of hopelessness that started growing that made it easier for me to choose that. Because I was like, no, it might as well be over because I didn't feel like I had a viable future in front of me. And I couldn't imagine it. I was in a really bad place. I was hopeless, and so that allowed for the addiction to come back pretty quickly after I got out of the hospital. And I was in a medically induced coma for about a month during that time. So it was weird. And I was really sick. I had liver problems, I had pancreatitis, I had pneumonia, I got sepsis. But it was all arguably stemming from years and years of drinking because I got a perforated bowel, and that's what kicked it all off.
Man.
But by the time I got into the hospital, I was also suffering from ammonia toxicity, which makes you crazy. I mean, when you drink so much, like I was drinking more than a fifth a day, a couple fifths sometimes, of vodka. Vodka's the alcohol. You had asked me specifically what it was. It was just, the thing that worked, that was cleanest.
I like what you said there as far as cleanest, because it doesn't have the lingering aftertaste. It's something that is easily to hide in other things. You can mask it with other things, and there is no harsh real taste. You got that burn, but it's clean. That's yeah.
I mean, it's the variety of choice for most
really
serious alcoholics.
Well, we're up against a break here. We're going to continue the conversation. Joining us live in studio is Clayton. We're with Step Denver. As today is Colorado Gives Day, we're supporting Step Denver as a station. Billy and I supporting them personally as well. Go to coloradogives.org, coloradogives.org/Step Denver. Donate to them today. Every little bit helps. It really does. It's coming together. We are breaking records as we fundraise to support this great organization. We will continue. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. A very special day. It's Colorado Gives Day. So Billy and I, typically battling over public policy and politics and all that stuff, have come together. We are united in this, that Step Denver delivers results. It improves lives, and we have dedicated the show to supporting them. So go to coloradogives.org/StepDenver. Now, last year we broke 710K in U.S. records with raising $12,000 in support of Step Denver. We are now north of $23,000.
What? Dude.
Isn't this amazing?
I'm floored.
We've nearly
incredible.
Doubled what we did last year.
This is incredible.
That is because of people like you listening that know the good work and are investing not only in improving the lives of these guys, which is a biblical commandment, but you're also improving our communities.
Wow.
Our neighborhoods.
That says so much about who you guys are as the audience out there. Thank you so much. I can't, from the bottom of my heart. Holy crap. We're breaking 23,000 so far? Okay. And as Amy outlined earlier, 85% of the men, more than a year out, are still sober. 90% still in independent housing. 75% still gainfully employed full-time. That is a track record that there is another program out there that is going to follow. We're spending time with Clayton. Now, if you missed his last section, Clayton talked about the fact that he grew up in a nice area of Chicago. He had a dad that was a lawyer. Mom was stay-at-home mom. Dad was a functional alcoholic, but he had brothers and sisters, a twin brother. But it was okay to drink. The family kind of involved excessive drinking. And by 8th grade, he starts to break the seal. He decides that he and his buddies are going to drink a whole bunch of vodka, and that begins his alcoholism journey. He does manage to graduate from college, gets a graduate degree, finds himself with a very nice career in New Orleans, but that's also alcoholic Disneyland. And so marriages start to get a little rough. He's got 2 of them. Right now, Clayton, I want to talk about the first marriage, and I want to talk about the alcohol and the influence on your relationship with your wife, and most importantly, with your 2 boys that you had at the time. What was it like? How did you use the alcohol to deal with and or escape from the family? And what were the long-term impacts on those relationships as your marriage dissolved?
Yeah, it progressed. The problem progressed throughout I was with her for 15 years. It was a long time, and started out, we drank for pleasure, do dinner and, once in a while.
What you saw at home, yeah. What the adults did, yeah.
Yeah, and then I started drinking hard liquor, and putting myself to sleep with it, and getting further and further away from my wife, who didn't find me to be present as a husband. I never wanted to have a hard conversation with her. I was just focused on my career, and I thought as long as I was making money, that I was doing what I needed to do. And really, I needed to be there for her also, and I wasn't, and that was more and more the case. To the point where I was sleeping on the couch all the time, and drinking a half a bottle before I went to bed.
And the solution every night when you came home with that stress was still going to be the bottle.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it was still the primary, even though in many ways the bottle was creating the problem. But it also, at that time, was the solution.
Yeah, and my children suffered too, because it wasn't like one of those households where I was slapping around my wife and beating the kids. And, it was quiet, but it was also, quiet and dysfunctional in a way, because I wasn't all I could be for my boys.
I think that's important. I want to delve into that just for a second, because there are going to be people that either have friends, family, or maybe themselves in the audience today that are dealing with alcohol, and they don't understand the impact and the barriers it's placing between them and the children. Talk about how your alcoholism, and I'm not even talking about abuse, just in general, your alcohol and the cycle of your alcohol abuse at the time, how is it getting in the way with your relationship with your kids, and how did it impact that?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people experience. I was a person who didn't really realize what was happening. You know, again, I was coming from a norm that was, drinking's part of my life, not knowing that, it was robbing me of the ability to be present for my children. And accessible to them, should they need me. I went to games and, brought home the bacon and all that, but, I never really developed the kind of relationship I could have had I not been absent due to alcohol.
You had mastered the performative aspect of being the dad without actually being the dad. You could show up at all the events. You could be there in the stands. You could do the cheering.
Yeah.
But when that door closed to the house, you weren't there as the dad.
Right. And, there's a lot of gray areas. There were good things. I was okay some of the time too, and did develop relationships with the boys. I just wonder what it would have been like without me. I always thought about it as hobbling myself with drugs and alcohol, because
that's a good way to think of it.
Yeah, I was just, I was making my own life more difficult than it needed to be.
Was that all through their time? I mean, were they out of the house by the time you decided to get help?
No, they were there.
They were there. So
they didn't even know. Though they didn't know that. I didn't even know you had a problem. When I first went to treatment.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I hid it. I would be absent and I would be gone and I would be doing it on business trips. I would be escaping the wife and going to a hotel for a few nights.
Or as you said, you'd schedule yourself to have a day off and get drunk
in
the park.
And then I'd stop a few, several hours before I had to go home so that I wasn't just totally wasted.
What I appreciate about Clayton's experience is I think there's a lot of guys out there, especially around, nice neighborhoods that are that same exact way.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like that you could do better as a husband and a father, and that alcohol is a hindrance, but it also has its clutches in you, and so you can't quite free of it. You're not beating your wife up in a trailer park, that type of thing. You're living in a nice neighborhood in the suburbs of Colorado. You have a good job, but it's still holding you back from having and being the father you want to be. We're going to continue this conversation. Step Denver live in studio. We're helping raise funds for them. The goal today is $25,000 from this show, and I think we're having a little bit of a Christmas miracle here, Bill.
We are. This is insane.
What are we at now?
Yeah, where are we?
Well, they keep coming in. Right now, we are at $25,325.
No,
dude, we haven't even finished the show.
So we need to push that goal further.
I'm pushing the goal higher.
Holy crap.
I'm pushing the goal higher.
Wow.
Because this is a Christmas miracle.
Yes, it is. This
has
is a miracle.
nothing to do with Bill and I,
No,
and everything
nothing.
to do with you, the listener, that are stepping up to help. You're hearing Donnie's story. You're hearing Clayton's story. You know the impact that Step Denver has. You go, I'm going to invest in that because lives are changing and our community is getting better.
Amazing.
We're going to 30,000. We're going to go to 30,000.
We're going to go.
We're going to break this record. Last year, we were at 12,000, which was a record. We've already doubled last year. This is a Christmas miracle.
Amazing.
Because of you all. We will continue. You're listening to, by the way, go to coloradogives.org/StepDenver to donate. coloradogives.org/StepDenver. We'll continue. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
We are Denver's talk leader. Man, you listeners know what you did. You made a little dust in here. My eyes are getting all weepy. Thanks. This is KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Billy and I supporting Step Denver. They're doing absolutely fantastic work. We've already broken a record. We have extended the goal because we're having a Christmas miracle here.
Yes.
This is amazing. Our listeners are amazing. You are the reason we are Denver's top talk radio show because we have the best listeners that not only call in and engage in the debate that Billy and I are often having, but you're stepping up to support.
It's incredible.
Them today. Absolutely wonderful. So live in studio with us is Clayton. Clayton, we're going to carry you over into the next hour and get into the treatment. But at one point, you ended up homeless? That's wild.
Yeah, I mean, after the whole incident where, I ended up in a bunch of treatments and all that, I, got to the point where I'd ran out of money. I'd alienated my supports. And I still had my car, and so I got into a sober living environment after one of my treatments, and I had to still pay for that, and that was in Colorado Springs actually, back in 2022, when I moved here from New Orleans to really try to start over, but I fell off, because I couldn't make enough money to pay rent, so I ended up just taking off and trying to live out of my car, and that didn't work out real well, because alcohol becomes a part of that picture very quickly, and I also spent nights at the Mission in Colorado Springs, several. It was winter time, I was like I couldn't stay in my car all the time.
Yeah. Wow. Very powerful story from healthcare executive to living in his car because of alcohol addiction. How did he get out of it, and how did Step Denver help him? We're going to get to that next. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
You guys are amazing. We are Denver's talk leader because of you. This is KNUS.